Yeah, I should win just because you had the Timberwolves in the 8th seed.
Vasilevsky's been playing really well, and the Lightning have a great offense.
Yeah, it was a tremendous shot, and I've come to expect it from LeBron. I would say I wish the best for the Red Sox, but as a Yankees fan, that's really hard for me to do.
The biggest addition to me is Jalen Brunson.
Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and that's all I have to say. He's still a top 5 quarterback in this league, and there's nothing really anyone can do about it.
Why'd you have to name him? Like, seriously? Like, thanks, man.
Who would have thought 5 years ago that the Clippers and Nets would be facing in the finals?
How is Joe Burrow going to get the ball to them if his butt is already on the ground?
Crazy. And for the fans at home,
Hello, I'm Cy Mendenhall, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by the man that posed this question, but fair question. Wide receiver injuries. Austin.
Yeah, this is very similar to last year with QB injuries. And while there has been a good bit of QB injuries this year, this has been the year of the wide receiver injury for me. Between Debo missing a lot of games, Ayuk, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. I know the Packers have had dealt with a good bit of injuries as well.
Brandon Cooks has been injured. He had like a knee surgery thing.
Yeah.
And he was in the IR. Malik Neighbors, concussion.
Yep, Malik Neighbors, concussion. There's been a lot of guys who have been injured this year who are wide receivers. And it's kind of tanked. This is not necessarily a fantasy football conversation. But when we're talking about top 10 potential, top 12 potential guys like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. I mean, Tyreek Hill's questionable for this week with a foot injury. Been a lot of injuries, and it's crazy because they've stopped the hip drop tackle. They've had all these rules against the defense not to make anything like hard hits, unnecessary hits against receivers, but it has not prevented injuries like maybe they anticipated. I mean, AJ Brown missed multiple weeks too. Devontae Smith missed multiple weeks. Smith.
I'm trying to think. I'm sure there are other wide receivers. Isn't Arkansas wide receiver Treylon Burks hurt as well?
For the Titans? He missed a couple games. Yeah.
So there are a lot of injuries. I just think
Nico Collins.
Nico Collins. His is a hamstring, right?
Yeah. Same with Mike Evans.
Same thing with Mike Evans. And that's another thing where I think a lot of this could just be there are a lot of injuries this season. And you mentioned the hip drop tackle. To me, this is a lot of soft tissue injuries. I wouldn't really call ACL, MCL soft tissue injuries for Brandon Ayuk.
But like Chris Godwin's a dislocated ankle. That's not.
Yeah, not. Trying to think. Puka Nacua, what was his?
PCL.
Okay. PCL. Cooper Kupp, I think, had like a surgery or ankle.
Yeah.
So to me, a lot of that comes down to conditioning. You could talk about with Brandon Ayuk. You also have T. Higgins as well. I think he had a shoulder injury before.
Yeah. To start the year.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it is going back to preseason. I know we talked about a lot of guys don't play in preseason, and I understand not getting hit, but there has to be something to where you are properly warmed up. I am not the greatest stretcher or great at warming up my muscles, but I know that's something I should do, but I don't have the resources wide receivers have. You have a training staff, and I'm not really sure how the team has to be doing something, because once you see this happening, which is we've talked about over the years, injuries, we mentioned quarterback injuries, that's something teams have to be working on. And I'm not really sure why there hasn't been an emphasis put on, or the effect. If there has been an emphasis, it's not working because of all the injuries you mentioned.
Yeah. And I mean, I know before we recorded, we mentioned Rashee Rice, but we didn't mention him here. They've had Juju as well has been hurt for a large patrol.
Hollywood Brown.
Yep. Before the season even started, he never played in a single game.
Did Kadarius Toney get cut, or is he on?
He got cut. He got cut.
He got cut. Sky Moore got put on IR, but
yeah,
I don't know if that's actually. But yeah, and I would say I haven't seen the Godwin hit. Was there a hit on Godwin?
Yeah,
I
it
missed
was a
the game.
hit. It was contact.
Okay.
It's just like
Contact.
kind of the Rashee Rice thing where it's contact.
Yeah. And there are going to be crazy plays. I'm trying to think who else. There's another wide receiver, I think. Maybe I'm just thinking of tight end Mark Andrews.
Oh, Keenan Allen missed some games.
Yes. That's very true. Trying to think who else. DK Metcalf. I just saw he's doubtful.
Oh yeah, with a sprained MCL.
Sprained MCL. Yeah, a lot of knee injuries, which it seems like a lot of guys can come back from that now, versus years ago, but still, you look at Michael Gallup a few years ago, he wasn't really the same guy. I feel like the ACL and MCL, there's a lot of strength and conditioning that can be done to protect them. Just given their the muscles around it and kind of being prepared. I remember in the quarterback, Mahomes trainer talked about working on weird ways to get tackled, and he still got injured, but there are ways he could work on that. So my thing is, I don't really blame the players. I blame the training staff.
I would blame the training staff if it wasn't happening to like every team, though. It seems like a lot of different teams or Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed as well. We just keep going. I keep thinking of teams, and Adam Thielen.
Yes.
On a touchdown catch.
Didn't Jordan Addison miss the game?
Yes, Jordan Addison. Yes.
Or was it? No, he wasn't suspended.
Would you agree that it feels like there's more this year than last year, or last couple years?
Yeah, Devontae Adams as well.
Yep.
Yeah, there are a lot.
Yeah, especially with the elite guys. I mean, we're mentioning guys that should all be top 10 yardage. So
yeah,
it is, I think, concerning. And you blame the training staff. I think I am more. It's either more freak stuff is happening this year, or it's on the players. Because unless every training staff is bad, I don't see how you can blame the training staff, because it's happening to almost every team.
That's fair. I wonder if another thing is the turf and just
that could be
fields.
That could be definitely true.
Because like Neighbors got a concussion. Yeah, it was at MetLife, and that's one of the worst turf places, or in just like worst fields. So that could be a reason he didn't get a lot of cushion, because he wasn't really shoved into the ground. He just hit the ground hard. From what I remember with that play. So you could consider that. I'm trying to think where the Niners played. Where did they play when Ayuk got injured?
Was that not at the Chiefs?
Yes, it was at the Chiefs. Yeah. It was at the Chiefs. Or no, it was at Niners Stadium.
Was it at Niners?
Yeah. I don't think it was at the Chiefs. But yeah, so there definitely has been an uptick. I think it's hard to figure it out. Yeah, I'm reluctant to blame the players, just given it's happening to everyone, and I'm sure they're doing everything. So it's hard to put that on the training staff as well. You could blame. It's got to be a thing where everyone's going through it, and I think the big answer would be preseason. And just the lack.
Like, you saying how much they play or the length of it? Like
how much they play? You could mention the length of it. Just not another game.
Do you think coaches should force their players to play in it?
I don't think this is where I kind of go about the coaching staff. You shouldn't be forced to play in it, but if you're not going to play in it, you have to be replicating that sense from a physical standpoint of, is your body physically prepared to play in these upcoming games?
So do you think that this is a one-off year, or is this something you think that could become common?
I think we've been talking about injuries just with the quarterback. You have the wide receiver. I would hope it's a one-off year, but I'm very. Is this the third year of three preseason games?
I think it's the fourth. I think it's 21,
It's the fourth.
22, 23, 24. This is 24. Yeah, it's the fourth year.
So maybe this is something where teams are still figuring out how to keep their players safe. So I'm gonna say we don't see an uptick anymore. If it does do an uptick, then something needs to drastically change.
Okay. Fair.
I'll let you take this one out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Please let us know. Have these injuries affected your fantasy football teams? I know they've affected mine. I mean, I have Mike Evans, Brandon Ayuk, and Debo, so I've been running into some problems, but please catch us in our next video.